Hope we find you at your viewers for Nation TV and welcome to the English News Edition beginning by top stories. President of the Republic Evariste Ndayishimiye stated that investing in agriculture and livestock is a key to national development as it increases production and creates jobs. He made this statement on Monday after completing the potato harvest in his field on Mhehe Hill, Muramvya commune. He was accompanied by the First Lady. And abroad, a rapidly spreading wildfire has reached the outer of Marseille, France's second largest city. Residents have been advised to stay inside, close shutters and doors, and keep roads clear for emergency services. Several dozen people have been evacuated from their homes. These were headlines. Welcome to news in details. I'm Joseph Ndajambo. The President of the Republic, Evariste Ndayishimiye, received in urgency Dr. Zarau Kibwe, a director on the board of directors of the World Bank Group, which includes Burundi and 21 other African countries. The discussions focused on the youth employability in Burundi and the construction of the railway that will link Tanzania and the Democratic Republic of Congo via Burundi. Take a listen.
So today I visited Burundi and I had a chance to meet with His Excellency President Ndayishimiye to discuss about the partnership between the Republic of Burundi and the World Bank. And then in this discussion, His Excellency appreciated the partnership of Burundi and the World Bank, which is growing by the day. He also appreciated the priorities that the World Bank is focusing on, especially for the country like Burundi, which is really stabilizing and want to accelerate its progress towards realizing its Vision 2040, which is for Burundi to be emerging economy. Now, in our discussion, we discussed many things, but one of them is how can the World Bank support in Burundi actually help the government create more jobs for the youth in the country. As we all know, youth unemployment is a challenge not only of Burundi, but also other countries in Africa. So that's one of the things that we discussed. But going forward, I think the President has put his priority very clear that will be helping the country realize its development visions. And two, which are very specific from His Excellency. One is really for Burundi to benefit from its natural endowment of natural resources, which are mining, especially critical minerals. That's the first one. And secondly, Burundi being a landlocked country, it's very important for Burundi to be at the center of transport connectivity, especially through infrastructure such as standard gauge railway, which is connecting Burundi and Tanzania. So this will really open the doors for Burundi to the global market.
And then the head of state, Evariste Ndayishimiye, hosted as well a high session organized by the CNDD Affiliate Party for Future Parliamentarians that continued on the second day in the political capital, Gitega. In this 5-day session were also present the recently appointed governors of the provinces of Gitega, Burunga, Butanyerera, Buhumuza, and Bujumbura. As I said in top stories, the President of the Republic, Evariste Ndayishimiye, stated that investing in agriculture and livestock is a key to national development as it increases production and creates jobs. He made this statement on Monday after completing the potato harvest in his field on Mhehe Hill in Muramvya commune. He was accompanied by the First Lady. Jackson Irakoze reports.
After harvesting activities in his potato field on Mhehe village in Muramvya commune, where he had planted 4.5 tons and harvested over 50 tons, the President of the Republic, Evariste Ndayishimiye, offered advice to Burundians, encouraging them to engage more actively in increasing agricultural production. He stated that beginnings are difficult, but with perseverance, projects succeed. The President explained that he turned to farming and livestock rearing after realizing that his salary alone could not meet his family's needs. He began by raising chickens, rabbits, and ducks, and later expanded into farming, which allowed his family to eat well. He pointed that for development projects to succeed, one must learn to manage time efficiently and delegate responsibilities, just as he does in balancing his duties as head of state with his agricultural and livestock activities. Finally, he urged Burundians to irrigate crops, especially vegetables, during the dry season. It is worth noting that he also highlighted the government's commitment to strengthening the seed sector, enabling farmers to access high-quality seeds that ensure better yields.
We're back to Bujumbura to say that the state exam was administered this Tuesday nationwide in Bujumbura city in the testing centers where our colleagues visited. They noted that the letter was taken in a good condition. Kata has more.
At the center of Lycée du Lac Tanganyika, the test began at 8 a.m. 294 candidates were expected, including 8 who came to redo the test. Jeremy Nahayo, the responsible of the center, stated that 6 schools were represented and that only 3 students were absent. At the center located at Eteskamenge, the exam started at 10 a.m. The delay on this first day was attributed to the fact that school officials did not bring their students the day before for the assignment of identification numbers and proper seating arrangements. This center also brings together 6 schools with over 1,300 candidates registered. At the Lycée du Saint-Esprit Exam Center, the test began at 9 a.m. Jacqueline Sinabiziga, the responsible of the center, explained that the delay was due to the absence of the candidates the day before, which prevented the early assignment of identification numbers and proper placement of candidates in the exam rooms. Finally, at the Lycée Skeperse Nyakabiga Exam Center, approximately 600 students are taking the exam. These candidates come from 14 schools, according to information provided by Felicite Habarugira, the head of the center.
Staying home news, the Ministry of Public Service announced that more than 91% of our performance reports have been already submitted to the Ministry of Public Service and will receive their records in July. And the heads of services who did not respect the deadlines will be sanctioned. Minister Veniste Muyabaga said this in a press conference he hosted this Tuesday in Bujumbura. Jackson Irakoze once more.
During that press briefing, the Minister of Public Service, Labor and Employment, Veniste Muyabaga, reported that in recent days, some state employees have shown inappropriate behavior by being absent from work without justification. He took this opportunity to remind them that they are legally required to carry out their duties and that sanctions will be taken against those who fail to comply. The minister also referred to a recent note sent to department heads requesting them to submit employee evaluation forms by June 30 at the latest. He stated that out of 103,910 active civil servants files, 95,337 evaluation forms representing 91.7% have already been submitted to the ministry. The employees concerned will receive their salaries in July, while defaulting department heads will face sanctions. Finally, the Minister Muyabaga revealed that fake diplomas are circulating within the public administration. He noted that 75 cases have already been identified and brought to justice, and urged all public services to remain vigilant and report any such cases.
Thanks indeed, Jackson Irakoze, for these details. And the rehabilitation of the 15th transversal road in the Maramvya quarter is dividing the local population. Car owners are complaining about the improper installation of speed bumps intended to reduce speeding, which has been the main cause of accidents. Local authorities acknowledge that these speed bumps were not installed in accordance with the road safety regulations and assure that they will be reinstalled properly in the interest of all residents of the area. Jivon Shimie has details.
Rehabilitation works on the 15th transverse roads in Maramvya Kota were carried out by City Coal Company, which was responsible for filling the potholes. Currently, the road is in good condition. However, users have started causing accidents due to excessive speeding. As a result, since Saturday, the residents of this locality have taken the initiative to erect speeding bumps to reduce vehicles' speed and thus prevent accidents. Unfortunately, these speed bumps were not built according to proper engineering standards. At the moment, road users, especially those driving small vehicles, are complaining that these bumps are damaging their cars. They are requesting that the speed bumps be installed by qualified professionals. The chief of Maramvya Hill acknowledged that the speed bumps were constructed by the local population during community works last Saturday. Kavasha Roosevelt admitted to having taken this initiative in order to prevent accidents on the road. In agreement with the chief of Maramvya Zone, they affirmed that they would soon contact competent road safety authorities to reinstall the speed bumps in accordance with the applicable regulations.
Closing our home news, through the ministry responsible for human rights, a practical guide on the respect of human rights in places of deprivation of liberty in Burundi was validated on this 8th July 2005. This took place during a validation workshop organized by the ministry in collaboration with stakeholders in the human rights and prisoner rights sectors. Evariste Nyonguru has more.
This validated document focuses on the respect for human rights in places of deprivation of liberty in Burundi. According to Veronica Barindogo, assistant to the minister in charge of human rights, inspections conducted in detention facilities revealed several shortcomings. These include prison overcrowding, poor hygiene, insufficient food, and inadequate health care. Veronica Barindogo emphasized that it's due to these issues, combined with the inherent dignity owed to every human being, that the ministry, with support from UNDP, found it necessary to develop a practical guide on minimum standards for the respect of human rights in places of detention in Burundi. According to her, this guide will serve as practical reference tool for stakeholders, particularly prison administrators, civil society organizations, and development partners. It aims to improve the living conditions of detainees and strengthen the institutional and operational capacities of prison staff. The validation of this guide adds value to the management of detention and the custodial environments. It will help introduce collective investigative measures tailored to Burundi's system to enhance detention conditions. It's worth noting that the validation of this practical guide on minimum standards for the respect for human rights in places of deprivation of liberty in Burundi involved various stakeholders in the sector, including the National Independent Human Rights Commission, and the Hash in French acronym, civil society organizations working in the field of human prisoner rights, as well as the coordination of the resident of United Nations representatives in Burundi.
Crossing borders, as I said in top stories, rapidly spreading wildfire has reached the outer edge of Marseille, France's second largest city. Residents have been advised to stay inside, close shutters and doors, and keep roads clear for emergency services. Several dozen people have been evacuated from their homes, as local authorities say. Have a look.
Just outside Marseille was where the fires started, in a place called Mirabeau. It's only about 20 kilometers or so from Marseille. And on the edge, the 16th you talked about, some of it people will be familiar with because it's also quite, some of it's quite lawless. There's some big housing estates and a lot of drug dealing thing there. But there's also a lot of homes, and it's kind of There's kind of wild land there as well. It's very near a place called Estac, which is quite touristy as well. And the flames have started at the outskirts of Estac, which tells you that you're really on the edge of Marseille right now, which is, of course, the second city. I've just checked the airport, and, of course, nothing will be coming in or out for a long time. Everything is cancelled, like you said. It's a pretty severe situation, considering it's the second city, just over 1 million people, and it's a very congested, it's kind of a city which is kind of very compact, surrounded by hills and mountains, and a lot of wild scrubland as well. And so they're used to having fires, but they don't usually lick right close to the city centre, and especially this early into the summer season as well.
And Chris, this is not the only fire affecting the south of France, is it?
That's right. And just to say, the only kind of the only glimmer of hope in Marseille is that they have the Étang de Berre. It's a massive. Anyone who's flown into Marseille knows there's a massive sort of indoor internal lake, so they can scoop up water pretty rapidly to get to those flames. Unfortunately, the wind's quite high. It's around between 40 and 70 kilometre gusts. And there's another major fire, just like you mentioned, near the town of Narbonne, which is in between Montpellier and Perpignan. It's a beautiful area. There's some amazing historic villages there called Bages and Carillac, and they've really been under threat in the last 36 hours. Scrubland there has gone up as well. The motorway's been closed between, it's called the A9, which goes all the way from, basically from Montpellier down to Spain. At this time of the year, the holidaymakers will be numerous. That's been closed, opening closed because of the smoke. And the prefect of the area, and there's hundreds of firefighters which will be dealing with that one as well, says that this is not under control yet. The problem is that this part of the country as well also has strong winds on a regular basis, and it's very, very dry.
Well, that's it from now. Thanks everyone for watching. Programs continue as a Nation TV. Stay tuned and take care.